of Fit Your Ability. Scott Hunt is the founder and CEO, of course, of Fit Your Ability, and NDIS, Registered Personal Training and Disability Support Company, servicing over 4,000 suburbs around Australia. Now, beginning in 1999 as fitness enhancement, personal training and franchising in 2014 to partner with other businesses in the fitness industry, Scott's companies have always been about helping those who need to exercise with a fitness professional but feel that gyms can't cater for their ability. As Australia's largest and longest running NDIS registered fitness company, Scott and his team advocate for more inclusive fitness industry with the goal of the fitness industry being truly inclusive to all abilities. Please welcome to the stage Scott Hunt.
Thanks Mel, and thanks for coming everyone. So as Mel said, really excited to talk to you about not just the NDIS, but how we as an industry can be more inclusive, because it's so much more than the NDIS. So to tell you a bit about my backstory on that, take you back to long before the NDIS to last century when I started fitness enhancement as just a keen teenager trying to help people who would just never step foot into the regular gyms. With a lot's changed since then, but a lot hasn't. That's still the focus to this day. As one of my original clients we still have to this day, and an old pick and a very old pick of me with her. So that hasn't changed. We're still always being about helping people who want to achieve their goals, but they find most things hard for them. We have grown a lot further, as Mel said. We're now around Australia. We're across 9 cities and been national for about the last 8 or 9 years or something. So we always had a problem though, and that was really how can we help the people train who don't think exercise is for them, or as you guys all know, how often does someone say, I can't join a gym until I lose weight and get fit because I'm too overweight and unfit to join a gym. So that's how a lot of our society feels. How does someone with a disability feel about that? They just think the industry is not for them whatsoever, right? And we hear that again and again, and that's been the problem long before the invention of the NDIS and continues to be the problem to this day. So this is one of the reasons why I think stereotypes. We've probably all seen this going through our social media at some stage. These are stereotypes of the industry. I know they're not totally true. You guys do too. We do a lot more than that. But the reality is that's what people who have never walked into a gym think. That's what society often thinks is the primary thing that we do. That's what our government thinks we do, and those stereotypes are one of the reasons why we were deemed non-essential in COVID, right? That's the stereotype out there. Now, there's nothing wrong with hardcore training, of course. I love that as much as you guys do. There's a place for that. In fact, there's a lot of great places. Many of you would say there's an oversaturation of great places in so many diverse ways to train a lot, but it's not all we are. I know a lot of you guys have disabilities, as do we, and many of you have clients with all different goals, struggles, and limitations. So for us, I'm sure many of you, these are our stereotypes. These are people we train. This has always been maybe 5% of everything that we do. Nowadays, it's probably 50% of everything we do nationally. And any of our newer locations, it's more like 80, 90% of everything we do. So we're really fulfilling that need. So that hasn't been an easy task. It's been 6 years. We've been really doubling down on this side of it to get to where we are today, to be truly seen as an inclusive fitness business. And that's what I encourage all you guys to try and do is, regardless of NDIS, look at how you can genuinely help those who need your help the most. And it's more than just whacking on your website that you work with disabilities or just trying to whack onto an NDIS registration. It's a lot more than that. But in terms of NDIS registration, it is a big one. So 2018, that's launched in Queensland. A little bit before that, we were the first in Queensland to get registered for it. And we're like, wow, that's amazing. We get this tick of approval from the government, we get paid by the government, we get to help more people with disabilities, we get to double down on helping all the people who we haven't been able to help as much as we'd like to before. It's going to be absolutely amazing. There's so many benefits to it. It could talk all day about the benefits to it. It could talk all day about the drawbacks of it if we get to. But it really is quite a unique sort of system, and something our industry is just not used to that type of system. We're used to being able to kind of just do what we want and not have to follow any really strict mandatory government regulation like what the NDIS is about. So that seemed like a great thing for us. Disability in Australia is also, unfortunately, a really huge thing. A lot of people don't realise this, but according to the government, 4.3 million Australians have a disability. So 17%, now coincidentally, ballpark about 17% of the population actively goes to a gym on a regular basis, right? So it's as big as our whole industry, really. But the funny thing is that people don't realise, hence why this isn't all about the NDIS, is only about 14% of people with a disability are actually on the NDIS. So this isn't about those 14%, this is about 100% of people who we know that we could help, at least a fair portion of those. We're not going to be for everyone, but certainly for a lot more than the 14% of the NDIS, we're going to be for most of the people in some way, shape or form who have a disability, if you can cater to. So the funny thing is with that statistic, a lot of people are shocked at that, right? How many people have a disability, how few are actually on the NDIS? Because it always seems to be all about the NDIS, doesn't it? In the media, it's all here, all those different things. That's why 34 billion reasons of our taxpaying dollars as to why people think it's all about the NDIS. And that's a lot, obviously. And it's growing as well. And it's a scary amount of our tax dollars going into it. Not my place to say where our tax dollars should go, but I can say I see the impact the NDIS has had on people's lives and helping them be able to live the most regular life like we all deserve to be able to live is absolutely massive. And what we can do is a tiny, tiny fraction of what we can do in regards to PT and maybe support. Tiny, tiny fraction. We're talking supports to help someone stay alive. There's simply a lot more of that now. So thankfully, we're in a country where we do have those opportunities, which is great. But then we have this problem. This is probably the number one meme you also see floating around everyone. I think the government probably has that up on their wall as well because they seem to struggle to understand their own system a lot of the time. It's a messy, complicated system with lots of wasted money, lots of people with disabilities not getting the support they deserve, some getting far more support than they deserve, and it's messed the whole time on their side. And as a registered provider, same with our side. We're 6 years in and we're still figuring out some things the whole time. When the NDIS reform happens, it's all going to happen again. There's always complications around it. So people think, oh, NDIS, get registered, get government money. It's not that simple, nor should it be that simple. You've got to be more than just that and not see that as just that. This probably sums up, this was in the media a while ago, this sums up exactly how most people feel about it. And the best analogy with the fitness industry would be, no matter what your goals are, anything at all, even if you're on the NDIS, you cannot use that money to pay for gym membership. You most likely can't get funding for a personal trainer either. Even if all your goals align with it, it can be difficult to get funding for personal training. You might be able to pay triple the rate and get an exercise physiologist, but not a personal trainer. Obviously, PT is on the NDIS. That's possible. It's just 80–90% of the people who want to get it can't only get PT funded by the NDIS. I come back to the stereotypes as to one of the reasons as to why that is. So our solution to that, I'm going, yes, with this registration, and we're still turning away sort of 80% of people who want to train with us. This is terrible. We want to help them. They want to train. We can't help them. Was to go from being registered for personal training to having core supports. Core supports is essentially makes us a disability support company. So we offer disability support now, and a lot of the goals that our NDIS participants have are about independence and confidence and mobility and social interaction and community, and these all sound like things we in the fitness industry do, don't they? But that's not funded for personal training. Us as a support worker company can offer those things now and tie it into fitness and align it with those goals. So that's been really awesome. We can help more people who financially couldn't get the funds for personal training by ensuring we are a by-the-book support worker company as well now. So we're also proud we're the only fitness company in Australia to have those core supports too, which is amazing for us too. Now, here's the thing though, right? A lot of people keep thinking, oh, if it's free with the NDIS, they'll do personal training, or they get a gym membership. We all know that price is the excuse people use to not join our gyms and train with our PTs. But we all know there's so many other reasons why they think exercise isn't for them. The stereotypes are one, there's a million other areas. Different presenters have talked about those today. We all know that price isn't the one and only sole barrier to people actually doing what we know they need to do for their health. So, therefore to me, NDIS removes the price barrier for people. NDIS isn't the biggest solution out there. It's not the only solution. It's got to be more than just about the NDIS and being able to go, cool, you can come train for free with NDIS registration. It does not work if that's what we've got going for you. And you probably wouldn't even achieve NDIS registration if that's what your goal was to do. So the reason why people don't train, we can talk all day about that, but to me in the disability sector, it's around awareness and inclusivity. They're the biggest issues. People just aren't aware that we are actually inclusive. I know loads of you guys would have clients with disabilities or at least other struggles in life that are comparable to someone with a disability. I know we'll have success stories around that, but people don't see that. They just see the stereotypes, right? And let's face it, that's what our social media is flooded with the whole time. So for us, our solution to that was create a whole extra brand around it. User name ability, one that's not all about flexing in the industry, right? And have a brand focused on disability. So, but it's got to be more than just a logo. A logo is just a logo. For us, it was doubling down on it, because that's what we hear the whole time, is this sort of thing. You just look almost surprised that we do something more than bodybuilding, even though we're all well-dressed people on our website and all have our shirts on. People still think we are stereotypes sometimes. At the Disability Expos we do a lot of them. We'll have 2 days, and that's pretty consistent with the crowd. And one of the first things we hear from people is that I didn't know the fitness industry could actually help me achieve my goals, or my loved one achieve my goals. In an expo of 200 or so exhibitors, we're normally the only fitness company business association around. So no wonder they think that we are not for them, because we're not represented there, except for us nowadays. So we as an industry need to change that, get the awareness out there. The success stories you have with people with disabilities or struggles, get them out there. Don't just put all your other bigger, better success stories out there. So there's no real easy way to think of the NDIS. I wish I had more time. There's a few quick ways I think is a way to simplify it. That QR code there, I did a presentations for I Was Active last year, and that is a 1 hour more going in depth on some of the really technical terms of it. So scan that, I'll bring it up quickly at the end if you do miss it, but that covers a lot more as well. Who can get funding? Just touch on one quick one. These 4 words are really important, I think. So this is what you'll hear the whole time around it. So permanent, significant, reasonable, and necessary. The government terms about who gets funding for what in relation to their disability, right? Now, again, you're probably thinking, well, our industry does things that are really necessary and significant, but it's got to be in respect to their disability and overcoming all the other barriers we know. So these are some of the things you can't get. You can't get it for injuries. You can't get it for obesity. There's a lot of things like that you just can't get. You can't get a gym membership. So watch that webinar, that 1 hour one that you can get off the QR code at the end, and you'll learn more about that. So as you're probably gathering, the NDIS system is the hardest bit here. I actually think the PT is the easiest bit. We're all experienced PTs, and probably also all had clients with disabilities or at least struggles. Personally, as an experienced PT, that's the easiest bit for our guys. The hardest bit is the NDIS system and then the awareness around it. Because we've got to educate people that we are for them. That is one of the hardest bits to do. But as far as the registration and the difficult NDIS system, they're really, to me, the 3 biggest sorts of options out there. Registered, what everyone hears about. That's what we've done. There are pros and cons to it. It was worth it for us 6 years ago. But if I had to come along 16 years ago, I wouldn't have been at the business size to be able to figure it out or afford it, or I had the team to do it. Unregistered, it's free to pick up 1 or 2 clients along those lines, but it's to really double down on it. There's still time, money, cost, hassle, expense associated with it to show that you're that inclusive business to the NDIS. Third option, join us, partner with us. We've got brochures on your tables about that, about what we do and working underneath our NDIS registration for either PTs or businesses wanting to work within that. So that's a really important thing that we do, and that's one of the reasons why we're across 9 cities now. Our big goal really out of all of this is to have all of Australia see that we are truly an inclusive industry, and see that our industry, there is places for them, no matter what their ability or what their disability. We've come a long way with that in 6 years. We've done a pretty good job for 25 years, really, but it's just the beginning for us. Last year we also launched Disability Fitness Australia, and that's really to finally totally connect the disability industry and the fitness industry together. So there's a lot more coming around that as well, for anyone who's interested in that side of it too. So lastly, that is me. That's that QR code again. That's the 1 hour webinar presented from I Was Active. That's me on Facebook. Look me up anytime. That's probably the best place to find me. Reach out anytime. And I look forward to seeing all of Australia, see how awesome a job we can do for all abilities out there. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Scott. And Scott will be hanging around for drinks